Your Japanese sounds weird, and it is not your pronunciation. You sound weird because you are still thinking like a foreigner instead of thinking like a Japanese person. When you think like a foreigner, your Japanese sounds more like Google translated Japanese than native Japanese. So the only thing that we need to do is to make you think like a Japanese person. And the way you do it is to see what phrases sound weird to Japanese people and why. Then you will step into Japanese person's shoes and you will see what phrases Japanese people actually use and again, why. By that, you can start thinking like a Japanese person and thus speaking like a Japanese person. Let's show you some example of Google translated Japanese. Listen.
私は医者です。
Do you know why it sounds weird? If not, it doesn't matter. I will now explain. Japanese people don't actually use watashi wa like this. Japanese person would say watashi wa if he is already speaking, like not the first thing in conversation. He would say it maybe in the middle. If he is speaking about someone else, for example his friend, and he's talking about his friend. Isha my friend is a doctor. And then he suddenly wants to speak about himself. And then he would say, Watashi mo isha desu. I'm a doctor too. This is the way that watashi wa can be used in Japanese. However, that is one of the few ways, and there aren't many. Here's why. Imagine you are a Japanese person. I will translate everything to English so you can understand. Now, a person comes to you and he says, my name is John. That sounds completely normal in English, right? My name is John. Hello, my name is John. Nice to meet you. Japanese people don't talk like this. Japanese people value one thing in their language. It is elimination. Whenever some phrase, some word, or even some sentence isn't necessary to say, Japanese people like to omit it completely and don't say the sentence, word, phrase at all. This is why Japanese person wouldn't say Watashi wa isha desu. My name is John. Watashi no namae wa John desu. Sounds alike, doesn't it? But Watashi no namae can be shortened to just namae. Namae wa John desu. My name is John. It still works. You don't have to say Watashi no. You are obviously talking about yourself. You can say Namae wa John desu. And the Japanese person would think like this. Namae wa John desu. Namae means name. Whose name? His name. And remember, I said that Japanese people value elimination, especially if the phrase isn't necessary in the slightest. So, if you would to say Watashi no namae wa John desu, Watashi no, unnecessary, you sound weird. Japanese people don't speak like that. And even when you are a foreigner, they would permit it. They wouldn't maybe even say anything. They would just look at you and smile. You are making fool of yourself. Or maybe not a fool, but why would you speak like this when you can sound more like a native person? So, watashi no namae, just namae. But also, you can just say John desu. And again, think like a Japanese person. The person thinks John desu. It's John. Who? He is John. And it's alright. No other words necessary. John desu. Remember one thing, and that is, in Japanese, context matters the most. It doesn't matter if you need to say Watashi no namae. He needs to know that it's my name. Context is the most important. And if you are talking about yourself, or if you aren't talking about anybody, you just go and meet the person. John desu, yoroshiku onegai shimasu is enough. the only time that you have to use watashi wa, watashi no, and specifically say it's my name, I'm talking about me, myself, I, is when you are already talking about someone else. As I said in the example before, you are talking about your friend. For example, Ken wa isha da yo, isha desu. And then you want to say, I'm a doctor too. Watashi mo isha desu. You wouldn't say isha desu again, that sounds weird. You have to say, I am a doctor. If you are speaking about yourself, you say, I'm a doctor. John desu, yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Isha desu. And then you say, for example, that you like cats or something. You wouldn't say, watashi wo neko ga suki desu. You can say, neko ga suki desu. And it's alright. You got me? This is one of the most common mistakes that beginners who try to speak Japanese make. So if you are able to avoid it, congratulations, you are now a step closer to becoming fluent. But the tricky part is that this mistake doesn't appear just with watashi wa. It also appears with kore wa, kare wa, kanojo wa, sore wa. All different words or nouns. You, for example, like a cake. Kono keiki wa oishii. This cake is tasty. Kono keiki. Why would you say that? You are eating a cake. Japanese person already sees that you are eating a cake. And as I have said, context matters the most. You eating a cake is enough, so you don't have to say kono keiki wa, this cake is, and you can just say oishii, tasty. A Japanese person thinks like this. Tasty? What is tasty? Ooh, the cake, obviously. Again, kono keiki wa oishii is something a foreigner would say. And yeah, it isn't going to be like extreme. He isn't gonna laugh. You think this is how Japanese people speak? But he's going to be like, ah. And in the head, he will be thinking, oh, okay, he's a foreigner. Whatever. If you are able to omit this and say oishii, he would think, wow, nice. This works with all the nouns. Your friend is coming to a party and you are talking with someone. You want to introduce your friend. You wouldn't say, kare wa Ken desu. You can just say, Ken desu. And proceed with the introduction. No kare wa. Not necessary. Context matters the most. Now I showed you how Google translated Japanese sounds and why you shouldn't use it. And I also showed you how Japanese person thinks and how this all looks from Japanese person's perspective. So now you know that Japanese person likes elimination and context matters the most for him. Let's show you one more example of how Japanese person would think. You are going to invite your friend to go to the pool. You would say, プールに行こう、プールに行こう. Let's go to the pool. Because 行こう means let's go, プールに to the pool, プールに行こう. Sounds normal, right? How can anyone say you are speaking like a foreigner when you say プールに行こう, let's go to the pool? Well, Japanese person would say プールに行こうね or プールに行こうよ. Ne or yo. These are particles that make you sound more like a Japanese person. Ne means alright or something like that. Just asking the other person if he agrees. And yo means let's go, let's do it. Enthusiasm. If you want to learn more about them, I recorded a video for each of these particles on my channel, so you can go and watch it. If you don't know what these particles mean just yet, well, search it up. It's ne, Japanese particle, yo, Japanese particle, yo with I, like epsilon, and O. Now, if you want my personal help with learning Japanese, First link in the description is going to take you to my full Japanese course for beginners, where I will teach you how to go from a beginner to fluent, and I will teach you how to avoid stupid mistakes like this and how to think more like a Japanese person. This way you will learn faster, and it will also be more fun than in any other way like Duolingo, textbooks, because you will actually get to see how a Japanese person thinks instead of just seeing the words or sentences. So if this sounds good to you, you can go and check it out. And if you like this video and if you like my channel, subscribe. If you want my personal help for free, write a comment, maybe I will respond. Goodbye.